Alright everybody, just Ron here. So I'm starting a project here. I'm going to start in my kitchen and I'm going to redo my cabinets. I'm going to go through the step process of how I'm going to redo them and repaint them. And I have cabinets all the way around here and one up here as well, which I'm going to do. And then on the bottom there's going to be cabinets all the way around there. I'm going to do the wall here on the side as well. So what I first want to do is just show you the materials I'm going to use. So I'm going to talk about the different things I'm going to use for the project here. So first off, I bought some liquid TSP substitute. It's a heavy duty cleaner. I'm going to take this and clean off all the cabinets. Take this and mix it in together, wipe all the cabinets down. There's some directions on the back we can go through when I mix them up, but this is concentrated, so we're going to make sure we add water, add the right mixture to clean it down. But I want to use a little bit more because I haven't cleaned these cabinets since we moved in the house over like 4 years ago, so I want to make sure I clean them really good. So that'll be the first step, cleaning while they're on. Now open the doors, clean around the handles, clean around the whole cabinet itself. Second step, once I'll remove all the doors and hardware and everything. Then we're going to use this. We're going to use the Easy Liquid Sander Deglosser. We're going to rub it on the wood since this is kind of has a little shine coat to it, and that way we don't have to really sand anything or use any stripper. And that way when we do take the gloss off, it'll hold the paint next. We're going to put it on a little bit easier and it'll look a lot better. Then I bought this, any name brand works, but small brush. Any name brand works, but a small roller here. Make sure you get the one that's specifically for like furniture and wood. 4 inches is going to be doing here. Got a couple of extra pads as well for it. And what I'm going to use here is some paint that I bought earlier, but it's the paint and primer in one, interior semi-gloss. So I'm going to use this. When you buy some of the kits in the store, they have a similar type of paint than this. I'm going to use this just because I already have it. It's the color I want. So we'll see how that's going to turn out. But we'll start the project here soon, everybody. We'll show how everything goes. So looking at the directions are pretty simple on this. Let's put it down there. Basically what we're going to do is, I can't zoom in that far, but it's for 1 gallon, you want to use 8 ounces. The bottle has, it says for heavy duty stuff, you want to use 16 ounces. So what I'm going to do is, this is 16 ounces here. So pretty much half the bottle, almost half the bottle I'll use and do deep cleaning. I'll save a little bit in case I want to go back and do a second coat of cleaning. But I'm going to use the maximum amount because, as I say, I haven't cleaned them in a while. So I'll be getting a gallon of water. I'm going to put the gallon of water in this bucket here. And then I'll be putting in 16 ounces into there, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so I have the water here. I did a little bit of warmer water just because I want to make sure I can see. And that might be a little too warm, but I'm going to let it cool down. And I'm going to mix in 16 ounces. So I'm going to take this from, I'm going to use gloves, of course, to keep my hands and everything safe. So just going to add it in here. And there we go. We're about right at 16 ounces. There, a little bit more. Splash of good luck, and we're good to go. Alright, so the directions here say we want to use this, put this rag inside of it here. Microfiber cloths here. Grants make them. You can buy whatever one you want. Wring it out, and what you want to do is you want to clean from bottom to top. So you want to start on the bottom here and just really start wiping the surfaces down. In here. You wipe your doors, and you want to just get the areas the grease was set and dirt was set. You want to get them clean. So this side here, probably not as much dirt, but because where it sits at. Just like I said before, you want to go get the bottom first. You probably will have a little bit of dirt and ground on the bottom and on the sides. And you want to just work your way up. Like I'm starting to see stuff I'm taking off now. Get your crevices. And you want to let this dry all the way through before you do anything else. Before you do the next step, which would be deglosser. you want to do that. And what you can do too is you can open doors up. Make sure you get the middle part as well. Stuff starts, the fingerprints and things get in there as well. So you see I wipe it down pretty well. It only takes a couple of minutes to do. I'm going to do the same one with everything else here around the stove. And I'll start on those now. And then we'll just keep going around. And what I could do is too, I'm trying to do this over the holidays. Since I'm going to be, no one's going to be in here cooking in this kitchen. We'll just wipe down here. It's not super wet and you don't want to get it super wet. But you do want it, definitely want it all the way dry before you go to any of your next steps. So I'm just going to do this. This side here I'm going to do. And as you see here, the stove is there. And a lot of grease probably builds up here. So I'm going to do the rest of this side here. That degreaser works great. If you're looking for a good degreaser, the TSP liquid one substitute is a great one. Cleaned around the outside here, so now we're ready to go. I'm going to start taking the doors off, and I will show you step by step how to do that, which I'm going to include marking and labeling each door and all the hardware. So that way when we put the doors back together again, all the hardware will match up and there'll be no need to drill holes or do any adjustments. It should just go right back in the same spots. I also clean the bottom too as well, all the way around, so we are ready to go. All right, for the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I bought these from the dollar store, get a cheap bag of bags. You really just need the bags to put the hardware in. I only use frog tape when I do my projects. I just like it. It's a better quality, I think, than the regular traditional blue tape. It keeps the paint from bleeding through, and you can look it up on the website and get all the good things about it, but that's what I use. But I do have some leftover old tape blue. What I'll be doing is tearing a piece off on each door and labeling each door. And putting the piece like right here and marking it. So this would be like if I was doing it, this would be 1, 2. So that'd be 1. This one here would be 2. And just label them all. And then what I'll do in the bag is, so I'll label the bag 1, just like this, and I'll put 1 up here. So that I know that when I take the hardware off, I know what door. Yeah, actually I'm going to label the door as well too. I'll put a small piece inside of the door, or the 1, just so I know when it's time for me to put everything back together, I'm putting the same doors back on the same area. So there you go. I got 1 here, 1 here, and then I have a 1 on my bag here. You can come up with other ways to do it. I just figured this is easier and simpler, and the bags cost $1. This tape cost me $1. So just want to give you a quick update on how the project's going. Like I said, you can put all your hardware in your bag and just number each bag like I have here. So to show you that, then if you look up here, I've already taken the doors off these cabinets here. So and also you can see here my prep work here in my dining room. I pushed my table over a little bit, and I'm starting to put the wood down. And first I'm going to start to degloss and allow them to dry. So I'll degloss the backs first, and then I'll put something in the middle underneath to hold them up a little bit so they can dry better. Degloss the front. All right, so real quick here, quick update. So Get all the cabinet doors off all the way around. Cut everything off here. So now we are going to the next step. Update in here now. I have every piece on the top off. I'm going to do just top for now, down to the bottom later because the bottom does have drawers on it. And I don't have enough room in the house to do them all at one time. So I'm going to start doing these, deglossing these, and then I'm going to flip them over. It takes about 10 minutes to dry. I probably give it a little bit longer than that. Flip it over and degloss the fronts and let them dry off. Okay, so I'm ready to start deglossing now. I got my tarp down and I got all the wood elevated so it's not on the ground. So I'm going to start using the deglosser now. I'll show you a couple of pieces. The fronts, I want to do the fronts really, really well because they're going to be one showing. Not that the backs or the insides are less important, but I want to make sure the front looks really, really good. So, okay, so I'm going to start right here on this one here, which is my number one. But it does make a difference. You can start wherever. Let's say using the standard deglosser. Directions are pretty simple. It says pretty much just use a cloth, scrub on surface, circular motion, fold and resaturate to prevent, make sure he doesn't do any wax buildup or it's really dirty. So basically we're going to do is take this, got the gloves, got everything on, open this up here. We're already shaking it up. They said dabble some on your, so we got some on there. I'm just going to go around circular motion. More. Go around in your circular motion. And we're going to move our sticker here because what I do is I place the stickers that we put right here on top so we know where each piece still goes. There we go. So that's going to take about 10 minutes to dry. I'm going to do the rest of them off camera and then. Hey everybody, so once again you can use any kit you want to. I picked this up I think at Lowe's, the Wiz or whatever applicators, but it's pretty cool because it's smaller and it has the roller on it, and it's easy to do cabinets with. I also picked up a couple extra brushes as well, so I can be able to get in between things. So I'm going to mix it up now and start the project. Alright, I had a little hiccup with the paint because it was old, and so I had to mix it up together using my mixer with my drill bit. So that was a little bit of experience, but thanks to good old YouTube, I did learn how to do that. So what we're going to do now is start applying the first coat of paint onto the backs first. Like I said, just going to get the middle here. And put a nice coat on. And we're going to get our sponge to go in between the gaps. Put a little bit more on to go around the ends. Just make sure the paint goes on smooth, leaving no trails behind. And this is why using this roller will be better. And then for the insides, what I do is I just take a dabble of paint with this foam brush here and just hit the corners to make sure they're you don't put too much in there. Just make sure the corners are covered, because you will be able to see that on your finished product if the corners aren't covered. And these are the backs too as well. And I'm not saying that you don't take as much time on the backs, but the front you want to make sure you have it perfectly right, because that's what you're going to be looking at. And the front is definitely the area where you want to do a double coat probably. But you want to make sure everything is smooth and it looks good. And then you get a new sponge. This one sucks. This one's pretty bad. I'm going to run out to Home Depot or Lowe's and grab a nice set of them, because if I'd have to do this all day with this cheap thing I bought from the dollar store, it probably wouldn't. It's just going to be a long day. Just go back over anything you see needs to be touched up here. And like I said, this is the inside, so it's not a big deal, but you still want it to look like really good quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording here and then get to work. All right, so I finished my first round of the insides. I can tell you a tip now that saved me time in the long run. I went ahead and just used a brush. I didn't have time to go get a foam applicator. I used a brush and I just went ahead and just did the inside corners first. And that way, don't have to worry about dripping paint. And then once you use your roller in the middle, everything will just roll out pretty fine. So go ahead and do your corners first. Get them out of the way. That's the hardest part to do, the inside of your corners of your cabinets. And I'm assuming I'm going to have the same issue on the other side because my cabinets have different grooves on the front. So it looks a lot smoother for the finish. So I'll let that dry a couple of hours and I'll flip them over and do the front sides. Now that the backs are dry, I'm going to start painting the fronts. And like I said before, getting in these areas like this is going to be a little more challenging, so I'm going to do those first. Just apply a little paint, try to get up in the crevices first. You know, so that way those things are covered. I can always smooth it out later. But just like my concern is if I don't get this part first here good, then it's going to make it really bad turnout. And try to keep the brush going smooth. And I'm going to go behind this and roll it out with my roller to make sure that it's smooth too as well. But I just make sure I get those corners covered pretty good, because those are going to be the hardest part on these types of doors here, is getting those corners. And getting these between the molding here, or between the different levels of, and getting between the different textures of the wood here is going to be our hardest challenge probably. Like I said, keep going around, get all my corners, get all the hard spots that are going to be hard that I can't roll. And what we're going to do is, once we get all those, areas there, I'm going to go back and take the roller and do a bulk of the work with the roller. Just take the roller, go across. And put a good coat in the center here. You're probably going to do the doors 2 coats just to make sure we have it nice. It looks real nice. And like I said, we're going to go over those corners where we just painted at and roll out as much as we can. So you don't see those brush marks. Get up in those corners. And also we're going to start on the outside here. And when we're on the outside, you want to make sure is you get all the way around the outside, but you also get the sides of the sides here as well, because those are going to be showing, right? So make sure you roll on the sides here as well. A little bit different in the back, right, where you can get away with not doing as much. On the front, you have to take your time and you have to do it right, because this is what you're going to see every day for the next couple of years. So take your time and go around. Make sure you get each side, roll through to make sure everything's flat. There's no caking, because you don't want that. Like I said, we're going to do 2 coats here, at least. I'll see how it looks, but I definitely want to put 2 coats will look nice on this. And that way I know I can capture all of my areas that I'm missing here now. Because I'm seeing areas even now that I'm not totally hitting the way I want to. So I will definitely be putting the 2nd coat on to make sure I capture all those areas. And you want to just smooth through, find areas where there's paint smooth through. Get it all going the same way on the roller. No cake-ups, right? No brown areas. Go through, smooth it all out. It's going to look really good. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off here. Fix this one up a little more and start the rest. But you should be on your way now. Hopefully this is helpful. So just a little update. The top's almost finished. I'm starting to put it back on now. I'm doing now is deglossing the bottom shelves now. And I'm also deglossing all the trim around the bottom, which is really, really bad. The top of the cabinets, pretty much clean all the way around. The bottom, underneath the counter, oh my goodness, I had to clean it so much because I guess everybody's dropping food and dirt and crumbs down that way, and it was just so bad. It took me almost a day to really clean it thoroughly, but I want to make sure I clean it right. So make sure when you're doing your tops, the top cabinets is a little bit easier, a little bit cleaner because nothing goes that way. Degrease above the stove, that makes sense, but the bottom ones you're gonna have to really clean if you so I cleaned it out with the TSP, used the deglosser on it as well, so we're good to go there. These are almost ready to start painting. I'm gonna start painting here in a second, and once I get those painting, I'm almost halfway, no, 3/4 of the way home. All right, so now I've deglossed these now on both sides. Let it sit for about 20 minutes on each side so it can dry out. And now I'm gonna start to paint the back first, like we did last time. I'm gonna go around with a brush first, hit the corners, just make sure I get everything coated there. I'm gonna take a roller and then roll around the edges and then roll through the middle to smooth it all out. And then I'll flip it over and we can do the other sides. These are the bottom cabinets here. I've already did the other side. I put 2 coats on this side. I'm just letting them dry now. I'll tell you one thing I've learned a lot doing this process. Definitely patience. You gotta have patience because there's gonna be a lot of spots that you hit and you think you've painted over it. I'm looking at one right now that I missed, and I've already done 2 coats on this. I see a small spot. Patience, take your time, don't get frustrated. The finished product, I see another spot here. Wow, will come out great, but yeah, it takes a lot of time. It does, you know. This is my second day, almost going into day 3. I'm about 85% done. Once these doors get done, I have a couple of trim work to do, but it's looking pretty good. And it's not constant like 24/7 work. It's just it's a lot of time. Just letting you know, but it's worth it. I mean, new cabinets cost a lot of money. This project I can pull it off for maybe under $100. So here are the bottom cabinets. There, I put 2 coats of paint on these since they were on the bottom, and they were a little bit more difficult to clean because I guess the dirt falls down to the bottom cabinets. And so I put 2 good coats, almost 2.5 really on these. So they're drying now. They should be ready to go soon. I did all the trim in the other room, so this is getting close to the last step. Next video I'll show you will be in the kitchen, and we'll be showing you how I did the trim. And then installing these doors back, and we're good to go. All right, so now we are back. I just want to show everybody how it came out. I used bare paint. I showed you the paint earlier in the video. It came out really great. I put about 2 coats on, 2.5 in certain spots. I'll tell you one thing, it gets really tedious when you talk about like how to the spots that you leave. You would never imagine that you leave certain spots like that. But I found a whole bunch of random spots that I left. I found some spots that I had to go over a couple of times. But overall it came out pretty nice. The gap between the cabinet's pretty good. As you can see, it turned out pretty well. I'm really happy about it. Didn't make a lot of mess, which is good. It took a lot of time, so just something to be careful for if you're starting this project. It's gonna take you a little bit of time to do it right, but hey, you know what? For under $80, I did all this. Now I will post a video in a couple of months to see how this holds up. But like I said, I used the Deglosser and the bare paint with the primer mixed in, so interior paint, so semi-gloss. Good luck on your projects. If you got any comments or tips, please put them down below. If you got any questions for me, just let me know. I'm here to help, and thanks for being a part of this project with me and viewing it all. And I hope you good luck on your project. And like I said, this is a pretty good cheap fix compared to what it looked like before, so I'm very happy. Okay, everybody, take care. Just Ron out.